Hi guys, welcome back to Finpact. I'm going to go through why I believe NIO Inc. has the potential to reach $250 per share. Now, NIO has gained a lot of media traction after its $1.8 billion IPO when it was listed on the New York Stock Exchange in September 2018. Now, NIO was founded in 2014 and it's a Chinese manufacturer of autonomous electric vehicles. It's located in Shanghai and the company has had financial backing of many high-profile investors such as Baidu, Lenovo, and TPG. Alongside its automobile development and its manufacturing services, NIO has 3 additional divisions, and these include a clothing line, service centers, and also battery swap stations. It launched its first battery swap station in 2018. Now, a lot of people might be wondering, where is the NIO price going? And in the short term, there has been a lot of regulatory pressure on NIO after the Chinese tech crackdown that happened on many different firms, especially DD, which is what I covered in my previous video. Now, it is possible that NIO's price will go down. Many believe it will go down to the $42 range, but this may be just a temporary setback, because I believe that NIO has the capability of either rivaling Tesla or even merging with them in the future. Either way, NIO provides services that can revolutionize the electric vehicle industry. During NIO's IPO in 2018, the shares were priced at $6.26. You can see that currently NIO is trading at $45.32. We are 2.2% down in the last 24 hours. In this video, let's look at where the price is heading, the recent earnings report, and do a little bit of a financial analysis deep dive into NIO, and also look at the latest news and how NIO is positioning itself to become that $250 share price. As NIO is a young company that is delivering fantastic news with new cars coming, new battery swap stations being established, I believe that it has a lot of room to run and that the pullback was just more of a temporary setback. It might be a good time to enter in. I personally will be waiting till it reaches around $42 until I rebuy back into the NIO share price. Since it only IPO'd in 2018, I still believe that NIO is a very young company and has real potential for the future. It has been delivering fantastic news with new cars coming out and even new battery swap stations, but there was a recent pullback in the share price, as you can see here. And this was because hedge funds were actually closing their positions in the NIO stock. As you can see here in this graph, the number of hedge funds with NIO positions actually decreased as of recently, which was exactly why we saw the decrease in its share price, as you can see here. And we did see a sudden bounce back to the upside here. I would say more of a panic buying sort of situation. When people saw such low prices, they wanted to get in because a lot of people do believe in the fundamental long-term potential of NIO as a company. And therefore, people are seeing this 30% setback as a real discounted price to buy in for the NIO stock. I just wanted to show you guys this chart on Seeking Alpha so that you can visually see how the news impacted the NIO price. Now, around April, there was a huge deal that happened between NIO and Sinopec, which allowed NIO to collaborate with Sinopec to build over 5,000 battery swap stations. This was a big deal because NIO has a unique selling point by offering battery as a service. So the NIO BaaS, the battery as a service, is a key unique selling point for NIO. So this deal was fundamental in increasing that price at that point. And then we saw some great Q1 results, which increased the price even further. Now, there was a bit of a slowdown in both the stock markets, especially tech stocks, and in the crypto world as well. Overall, markets weren't performing so well. So I believe that overall, the sentiment wasn't there in the market and we saw it trading downwards. But around this point, people started buying in because there was fantastic news with the renewed manufacturing contract that NIO had with Jianghuai Automobile Group, expanding their annual capacity to 240,000 units. So securing this manufacturing deal did increase the price for NIO, and we saw it head towards an upward trajectory. And then we saw the European whole vehicle type approval, where NIO basically obtained a license to be able to sell its ES8 in Europe, where the company would also start selling in Norway. And recently this article did confirm that NIO is preparing its entry into Norway. NIO, the Chinese car maker, is preparing to enter the Norwegian market. Beginning September, the ES8 SUV home chargers and superchargers will be available to Norwegian customers, and the first 4 battery swap stations will follow before the end of the year. And then based off all this news, as the bulls calmed down, we saw a sudden upsurge because there was an impressive increase in the June deliveries. This was an increase of 20.4%. But since then, the price has decreased by 30%. So it's giving people a chance to buy in if they've missed buying at the earlier prices. Another reason that I believe that NIO has the potential to reach $250 per share in the long term, so around in the 5 to 10 year horizon, is because they are installing over 4,000 battery swap stations by end of 2025. So NIO announced in its first NIO Power Day in Shanghai a massive plan to expand battery swap station deployment. It's called NIO Power 2025. So having 4,000 battery swap stations established really gives them a huge presence across the world. And we're seeing these developments happen with how they're opening up in lots of new markets. I mean, they're even preparing their opening up to Norway in September. So currently, NIO has a network of 301 NIO Power swap stations, 204 power charger fast charging stations, and 382 destination charging stations in China. The swap stations were cumulatively used 2.9 million times. By the end of the year, the number of battery swap stations is expected to increase to over 700, which is a substantial increase given it was expected to be 500. So the company intends to add around 600 units a year between 2022 and 2025, which will result in around 3,000 units in total, with an additional 1,000 or so outside of China. This just shows that they're going to be expanding into different regions, and the number will be 4,000 by the end of 2025. And one of the mechanisms that NIO has said that their charging and swap systems will also be available to other manufacturers who are willing to join. So this will improve their network and their base as well. I mean, this goal speaks for itself. NIO says that by 2025, 90% of its users will be living less than 3 kilometers away from a battery swap station compared to 29% today. They're expanding their team as they also announced a new appointed independent director. This is always good when you have an independent director. They can give opinions on the company without being too biased. They can really look at the market in an objective way and provide that advice to the board. And you know, the gains that NIO has seen post this Power Day has really impressed analysts. If we look back at the platform I used, eToro, we can see that in their research, if you scroll down, that look at the Analyst Buy Ratings, and these are just for the next 12 months. Ming Hsun Lee from Bank of America Securities has said it's a buy with a $60 target for the next 12 months. Jeff Chung from Citigroup has said it will be around $72, quite a bullish upside scenario from where we're at only $45. And Vijay Rakesh thinks it will reach $65. Bear in mind, these aren't unrealistic, especially given how high it went for the all-time high. If you look at this graph, you can see that this is the downside scenario, which is still higher than where we're at now, and the middle scenario, and then the upside at $87 looking at this chart. I really think the investment in NIO right now is not a very risky one, especially if you're going to hold for at least 12 months. In my non-financial advisor opinion, remember, guys, do your own research. This is just my opinion based on my research and what I believe can happen with NIO. They have a market cap of $59.89 billion. So if it was to reach $250, I definitely think that wouldn't be an unrealistic market cap. And this year itself, it had a 228% return. Its beta is at 1.0578. So when a beta is more than 1, it means it's more volatile than the market. A beta of 1 basically says that it moves with the market. A beta of more than 1 is saying that it's more volatile than the market, but 1.05 isn't that much more. So I think that given that it's a tech growth stock, it's not as risky as how so many tech growth stocks can be. So the beta is not too bad. Let's look at some of their financials. So you can see their deliveries have increased Q1Q from 2020 Q4 to 2020 Q1. The vehicle sales were up by 490% from the first quarter of 2020 and an increase of 20% from the fourth quarter. So gross profit actually turned from a gross loss into a gross profit, which is great. It's an increase of 36.2% from the fourth quarter of 2020. Gross margin was 19.5%, which was initially a negative 12.2%. So turning that into such a high gross margin is fantastic. Clearly, they're doing the right thing in the last year. So on a quarterly basis, if we compare March 31st, 2021 to March 31st, 2020, there is a substantial increase in revenues. Cost of sales has also increased. So overall, the gross loss has actually increased into a gross profit. By the way, this is all in renminbi. So it's also in thousands. So this would be a profit of 1.5 billion renminbi. Net loss has also decreased, so it's a less of a loss than it was before. A lot of these growth stocks actually do operate at a loss in the beginning because they have very high research and development fees. You can see that they have quite high R&D expenses, but usually as these companies grow, they start getting economies of scale, synergies start happening, they may merge with other companies. So we're going to see and keep a close eye on how this goes, but as of now, I'm not concerned. The main thing is that they've shown that they've increased their revenues and their market presence. Let's also touch upon their asset base because their asset base is very strong compared to their liabilities. So total assets is around 61.1 billion, which is a good discrepancy of around 30 billion roughly compared to total liabilities, which is 30.7 billion. So that's a good around 30 billion discrepancy. So, if you had to liquidate any of your assets to pay off any liabilities, they definitely are able to do that, but still have enough left over to meet other obligations and continue operations. Their total debt to equity is around 57.25%, and their total long-term debt to equity is 42.41%. By the way, I'm using eToro. I really like using this platform when they do such summaries. I have a link down below in case you do want to sign up. And they have a really good amount of liquidity. Their cash and cash equivalents is around 28.6 billion, which is pretty good given that is actually quite a large percentage of their total current assets and quite a large percentage of their total assets in general. So they have enough liquidity to pay for, obligations if they need to pay back debt, if they need to pay back interest or, just expenses in general. So they have a good buffer of cash. All in all, positive earnings report. I've not gone into too much of a deep dive of net debt to EBITDA. I think the company is quite a new one. Later on, it would be worrying if their debt increases even more. But as of now, I'm not too concerned given their very healthy asset base that they have. Also, the main thing is right now, they're increasing their market presence. They are a tech growth stock. They are in the EV space. They're trying to get a market presence. And clearly, we've seen their revenues increase and their losses have fallen. So that is the main thing. I'm very bullish on NIO in the long term anyway. And with all this news we're seeing, I really do think that it can reach $250 per share in the long term between 2024-2025, given that they increase as planned the 4,000 battery swap stations and they continue expanding their presence globally. Something we need to also talk about is the NIO Park, which launched in April. So the NIO Park is a smart electric vehicle industry park. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce this. I don't want to say it wrong. And NIO is going to be part of NIO Park, which is a world-class smart electric vehicle industry cluster encompassing innovative research and development of vehicles, core parts, components, and autonomous driving. This is going to be a place they will really be able to enhance their electric vehicles and collaborate with hundreds of key supporting enterprises and a highly clustered, fully fledged industry chain. So NIO Park will be home to 10,000 R&D personnel, 40,000 technical workers, and an annual production capacity of 1 million vehicles. I think there's a lot of exciting things coming for NIO. Leave it in the comments below and what you think. Also, if you're interested in seeing the trades I make and what I buy in real time, then check out my Patreon linked down below. You can see my thoughts on the market, what I trade in real time, and also get one-on-one support from me depending on the tier you select. I also have a link down below for WEBULL where you can get 2 free stocks worth up to $2,000 when you deposit your first $100. I also have a link down below for eToro if you enjoyed seeing the platform I used in this video. So guys, thank you so much for coming. To support my channel, please hit that like button down below and also that subscribe button. I make new videos every single week and this would really help support my channel so that I can continue making free content for you guys. Thank you guys for watching. Bye!